Good evening, my dear brothers, sisters, and friends. Today is July 15, 2011. We are at the Trúc Lâm Monastery during our Friday meditation session. How are you this evening? I hope you are well and enjoy the meditation session together. When we have an idea that we want to come to the practice center to practice, or if we realize someone is suffering, we want to help, or if we feel that there is a place where they need our volunteer, and we have an idea that we want to come, we cultivate the commitment that we would like to come and give a hand and support. And sometimes we want to come to a practice center to help, or we want to come to practice with the Sangha, with the community. All of that kind of idea, of that kind of mind, in Buddhism we call the awakened mind or enlightened mind. The mind to awake ourselves, and the mind that to awake the others. And original term from Pali they call bodhicitta. Bodhi means awaken, citta means the mind. The Chinese Vietnamese pronunciation Bồ-đề tâm. Bồ-đề means Bodhi, tâm means citta, the mind. Every one of us, we always have a very good mind at the very beginning. But if we do not know how to nourish and protect that mind, and that mind cannot grow stronger, healthier, and become the fruit of awakening. We all wish to have a good fruit, but we do not nourish well. We do not water the Bodhi tree well, and that is the reason why our Bodhi tree cannot grow healthy, cannot get strong and give us some fruit. Sometimes we practice, but we ask, how come? I don't see any results. I don't have I don't feel that I attain anything. And that we need to inform with us how much we diligent in our practice, how much we put our effort into the practice. For example, you learn Vietnamese, or you learn Chinese, or you learn English, but if you do not put yourself wholeheartedly in the learning, and you cannot memorize all the accents, all the characters, and all the verbs, all the rules of the language. Anything we learn, we must put our effort diligently into the learning, daily, cannot stop. You will complain, how come I am practicing sitting meditation for 10 years, but I still feel numb when I sit down with my legs? Because you don't sit properly, you don't sit regularly, maybe once a week, maybe 2 a week, 2 times, maybe every 2 weeks you do only one, and each time maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Our practice is very up and down. We cannot keep the practice smoothly, regularly. And that is, sometimes we socialize with a lot of things around which are very negative, unable to support, unable to help us in the practice. So when we have the mind I want to help that person. That means you have a very, good mind. What we call the awakened mind. The very beautiful mind. We need to nourish that. We need to keep that strong and healthy. For example, all the monks, all the nuns, when they make the strong commitments, they want to devote their life for the sake of others. They have raised a very strong awakening mind in them. They want to help. They want to do that. But if they do not keep that mind strong and healthy in them, they do not water regularly the practice, one day they will give up, they will withdraw, and they don't see any more happiness, any more peace on their practice. They want to withdraw. They want to take the step off from the path. Vietnamese used to say, ăn cơm có canh, tu hành có bạn. When you practice, you must practice with friends, with brothers, with sisters. The same as you must have a bowl of soup every meal. A Vietnamese tradition, we always have a bowl of soup during the meal. You know why? To balance our meal. Because sometimes we eat deep fried stuff and sometimes things very dry, and the soup will cool the flame and make the oil digest. Sometimes you eat deep fried things and you must have a bowl of soup, because the hot of the soup and the vegetable in the soup able to make your body cool and cool off the flame that you intake. And if things you eat too much oil, and you drink hot water, or you drink tea, or you take the soup, it helps to digest the oil. So every meal, based on the Vietnamese tradition, we always have a bowl of soup. We cannot have a meal without soup. Of course, once a while, but usually every meal there is a soup. Same thing. You cannot practice with our friends, with our brothers, with our sisters. But we have to be very careful. We have to be very mindful. We need to find a good friend to socialize with. Otherwise, the bad friends will push us away in the practice. For example, if a good friend, they will support you. They call you to party, to do something tonight. You say, no, I have a commitment that I have to go to join the Friday class every Friday. A good friend always supports. The Buddha gave us the 4 conditions about a good friend. A good friend must understand you, must support you, must encourage you to do good things, and must prevent you when you do bad things. Please remember the 4 conditions, how to find a good friend. In order to inform this is a good friend or not, you can count on these 4 qualities. Understand you, supporting you, prevent you when you do bad things, and encourage you to do good things. In the Vietnamese tradition, the husband and the wife, when they do marry, during the wedding ceremony, the husband and the wife will turn face to face, and they join their palms and bow once to each other. And the reason why they do that, because from now on, I will respect you, a wife, but also a friend on my path, on the path. And the husband also, the wife also bow to the husband and declare, you are my husband, but you are also a friend on the path. So that's why they bow to each other. And we call tương kính như tân, respect each other as a new friend. When we are a new friend, we shake hands, we appreciate each other so much. Same thing, husband and wife also need to respect that. Because if we do not respect each other, the relationship cannot last long. If we do not respect each other, we speak to each other like an enemy. When we fall in love, we will say a lot of good things. But when we no longer love, we say a lot of bad things in order just to get rid of this person. Socialize with a good friend is very needed. Avoid from bad friends, because when you want to go in further on your path of the practice, and you must remember, the Buddha advised us, get along with good friends. Because good friends always give us something, learning more, learn something we never learn, listen to something we never listen, or see something we never see. Each minute we get along with good friends, we learn a lot from them. For example, just 2 days ago, I fly to the United States to have some emergency things there. And when I turn on the tap to wash my hands, I just do gently as I used to do. But there was a young man who sit there and watch how I turn on the water, but he did not say anything. Yesterday he called me and he said, Thầy, only 2 days stay with you, but I learned a lot from you. And I know that I am similar like you. But when I see you, I learned that I need to do more details. Because usually people turn on the water, very loud and make the water split everywhere and waste the water. But when I see you turn on the water, I did not know that he is watching me. I just do, as what I used to do. But he learned and he watched. And one day he said, now I can inform how the Buddha said. When you get along with good friends, you will learn something you never learned. You will know something you never know. You will see something you never see. It's a new experience, always. So in order to keep this bodhicitta mind, bodhicitta, the mind of awakening, always alive in us and grow stronger, we must get along with good friends. If not, one day we cannot continue. Because they always say, why you need to go there? That's so boring. Why you need to stay there? No need, enough. They say a lot of things to bring you out of your environment. The second thing that the Buddha taught us, in order to keep our bodhicitta, our awakening mind, healthy, strong, stable, solid, we need to have the right understanding. And the opposite of the right understanding is the wrong understanding. When you have the wrong understanding, it will lead you to the wrong speech, wrong action. And sometimes you share with your friends wrong things too. If you learn it right, you will share with people right. If you learn it wrong, you will share wrong. That's normal. I remember when I came to Canada and I learned English. And very unfortunately, I have learned with a lady. She is also does not speak English very well. And this is what she taught me. I don't blame her, because this is how she learned. And of course, when she teaches, she will have to teach the same. She told me, when you say something about past tense, that means yesterday, you have to put the word ed in there. For example, today I walk. Yesterday I walked. Instead of say walked, ed silent, or very gentle, but she said, yesterday I walked to the market. Yesterday I played. And she pronounced the word ed very clear, and she taught me like that. And for 3 years, I speak English in that way. And one day, I met a real Canadian lady. She taught English. She asked my teacher that she want to bring me to her class for 1 year. I was attend a regular program. Now I need to stop and go back to ESL class for 1 year. For 3 years, I only know pink, yellow, white, purple, and all the colors. Because we don't have a chance to learn the English in the right way. But when I came to learn with this teacher, she followed the book, but beside that, every single picture that she saw in the book, she always give us a new vocabularies. And she asked us to do a contest with her. And all of us in the same class, within a year, we can speak English a little bit. But before that, we could not. I share with you this. I don't mean to blame the first teacher, but I understand. When you learn something wrong at the very beginning, or you understand things wrong at the beginning, you will teach and you will share, you will repeat something very wrong. That's why we need to inform. We say, did you hear something? No, I didn't hear anything. You know what? This is something very new. I have heard from the other person. And remember, you have heard from that person. That means you are the second person. And you repeat. Sometimes it's not correct. And sometimes the story is more details, more taste, more spicy. We used to say, tam sao thất bản. If you copy something 3 times, the original one is not clear anymore. Let's say you put the book on the photocopier, you make 1 copy, but you don't copy the original. You take that first copy, you make another copy. You take the second copy, you make another copy. After 3 copied, the word there is not clear anymore. 3 times you rewrite something from this book to another book. 3 times. The real situation has been changed. In Vietnamese joke, we used to say, one lady went to the market. Suddenly, she saw a bicycle hit the duck, and the duck died. She went to her village and she said, I saw 10 ducks hit by a bicycle. Moved to the middle village. 10 ducks become 100 ducks hit by one bicycle. And after that, the whole village will understand 1,000 ducks will die on the street just by a bicycle. Unbelievable, but people believe it. So when people come and say, I want to tell you something, we need to ask them. I need to ask you 3 questions before I listen to your story. Is this something good or bad? No, this is bad. Is this directly you hear it or you heard from someone? No, I heard from someone. Is this related between you and me? Nothing related between you and me. So after 3 questions, I realized not a good things to hear. Nothing related with me and you. And this is something you hear from your others. It's not directly you hear it, so I don't need to hear. We have to have a filter. We need to filter some story. It's very dangerous. I remember one day I was in Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. Soon I just arrived to the airport. The monk picked me up and he said, I need to bring you to the hospital because on the way here, somebody called in and say they have a family member almost died. So we need us to come there to support. So I want to invite you to go there. He called back to the temple and say, do not need to wait for dinner because I brought Thầy Pháp Hòa directly to the hospital to pray for a very ill patient. And I don't know why the people at the temple heard that. I need to bring Thầy Pháp Hòa directly to emergency right away because he is very ill. And 5, 10, 15 minutes later, the whole city, the whole Buddhist members in that area understand that Thầy Pháp Hòa is very ill. Soon he arrived to Memphis. Very dangerous. So that is why sometimes we go to the practice center. How come we cannot continue to practice? Because we have heard a lot. Gossiping. We have heard a lot of mistakes. We have heard a lot of wrong things. Wrong message. For example, sometimes you heard from Vietnamese and you translate into English, and sometimes it's already different. And something you learn from English, you translate into Vietnamese, and sometimes it's different. We work if we go to work at a company, everything we heard, we must inform. Is this correct or not? That is the reason why in Buddhist Sangha meeting, when we make a decision, we need to declare 3 times with the community before we bring the matter to the public. For example, if we have a meeting to make the decision whether we allow Thầy to go to the state to give a Dharma talk in August or not, and we will say, after the meeting, we need to declare. The main person will say, Dear Sangha, today we have a meeting together to make the decision for Thầy to go to the state to give Dharma talk in August. And we need to inform. After the whole meeting, everybody agree for Thầy to go. Is this correct? If you agree, please keep silence. If you do not agree, please raise up your hand and say you disagree. This is the first time I ask. Everybody silence. Declare again. If you don't repeat the whole thing again, and we'll say, this is the second asking. Do you agree? If you agree, please keep silent. If you do not agree, please raise your voice. Second time, silence. After 3 times, everybody also silent, and the main person will declare. Everybody agree. Based on 3 times I ask, you keep silence. And I understand that you agree for Thầy to go. But after the meeting, you go out. You are against it. Your fault. You will have to work with the whole community. How come? We asked you 3 times already. You did not say anything. And you walk away from the community. You're against it. You say something about it. When you hear something from others, do not believe it yet. We need to inform. Is this correct or not? Why? Because if we hear something without any informing, we may have the wrong understanding, and we may get mad, we will get angry, we will misunderstanding that person, and the breaking, the communication can be disconnected. And sometimes we always hear something, very wrong. Just this trip, I connect my flight in Denver. And when I arrived there, and I must have the second flight, the connect flight, at about 6 o'clock. And they say that the flight is delayed based on the weather. And I was waiting for 1 hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours. I'm a little bit hungry, so I buy something to eat. When I'm eating there, there's a flight that they call to get in. And I don't know why. I saw people walking to the gate, and I thought it's my flight. Rushing, because I'm the last person, I'm rushing. I put all the food in the garbage. And after I come to the gate and I give the ticket, it's not your turn yet. Very guilty, very embarrassed. And I was just smiling. I talk to myself, you must learn to hear, listening deeply. I must learn how to listening deeply. And sometimes we heard something, just a little bit, not enough information, and then we already inform, this is correct, this is wrong, this is right. We have a lot of justice about the situation. So do you remember when we evoke Avalokiteshvara? We evoke your name in order to learn to sit still, attentively, and listening deeply. We will learn to listen without any prejudice, any justice. A few years ago, I went to bless a new house for a Mongolian lady married with a Canadian man. And he came to the temple and picked me up to his house to do the blessing. And after the blessing, he brought me back to the temple. And on the way back to the temple, he put his hand into his pocket. And I thought he wanted to pick up his cell phone and answer the phone. He turned to me. After a few times, he put in and he take out, put in and he take out, take his hand out of his pocket, and he turned to me and he said, "Thai, do you mind?" You know what I thought? I thought he asked me, "Thai, do you mind that I answer my cell phone?" I said, "No, I don't mind." He put his hand into the pocket, he pulled out a cigarette, and he smoked. So when he asked, "Do you mind that I smoke?" I did not ask him, "What are you asking about?" I think I am understand him enough So he want to answer the phone, but actually he want to pick up the cigarette, take out the cigarette and smoke. But he still a little bit, like he need to inform with me. So I asked Thầy, do you mind that I smoke? But I thought I'm smart enough. No, I don't mind, you can answer your phone. But I say, no, I don't mind. He take out the cigarette and he smoke. And that is something we need to learn from life. We hear something, we must hear clearly. We have been asked, we need to ask for something. Sometimes we ask for this, but the answer is totally something else. In Vietnamese, we used to say, the lady asks a chicken, but the man answer a duck. Ông hỏi gà, bà hỏi vịt. One asks for something and the other answer for something else. Nothing connect with the story. So wrong understanding is very dangerous. Let's say that is something, in our daily life. What about our belief, our practice? If you believe in a wrong way, you practice wrong way. And you will guide someone practice in a very wrong way too. When we have a wrong understanding in us already, our practice cannot continue because we have a lot of doubt, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stopping in us. And the third thing, in order to keep our practice well, we need to be diligent instead of lazy. I think we all understand this situation. We have a very strong laziness habit in us. Sometimes because of the weather, sometimes of the tiredness in the body, does not keep our practice strong. And remember, the Buddha gave us an example. Diligently is like we're using the two pieces of wood we try to smash. But we need to continue all the time to make the fire, to take some fire from the wood. If we smash for a few minutes and we stop and we smash, we're unable to get the fire from the wood. We know that the wood already have fire, but two pieces of wood, if smashed together, and the fire can appear. Same thing. We cannot be lazy in the practice. We have to be diligent in the practice. When I see my students who are not practice diligently, I feel very, very sad. And this is something very honest in me. I always have a very sad feelings if I realize my students who are not practice well. Because I know that on their awakening path, they are a little bit, moving backward instead of forward. When you shave your head and become a monk, sometimes they call going forth ceremony. Instead of translate living home ceremony, and they translate going forth. Going forth means you make a strong vow to move your step. And every day we need to do that. Move up a little bit. Move up a little bit. The same as when we line up for something. We want the line to move up. We never want the line to move down. Same thing when we practice. We always want things to move up. The more we practice, the higher we attain. And the higher we attain, the smaller we are we are very humble. It's like an airplane. The higher the airplane fly, the smaller you can see, right? Same time, same thing. The longer you practice, the more you practice, the more you become smaller and smaller. Smaller what? Small your arrogance, small your pride, small your proud. The fourth thing we need to remember, that is we need to manage our daily life from mind to material life to our practice life. Very important. Manage or control or balance. The Buddha never prevent us to use material. We can involve, we can have a technology life, but we must moderate because our lifetime is limited. Our capacity is limited. But that kind of technology life is, unlimited. We never have enough capacity to follow them, to adapt them. So instead of that, we need to moderate just enough for us to use. The more we want, the more we suffer. The more we feel enough, the more better for us. The one who never feel enough, that's why they always want more. But the one who always feel, I have enough, then you will stop right there. Enough what? You just have enough, that is good enough. The more we want, the more we have to suffer. That's very true, because we never stop. We always feel that I'm poor. Because we feel we are poor, that's why we want more. We never feel enough. So learn about to manage, to self-control, and to moderate, to balance. I always remind you about the story about me and a young student. He liked to take picture, and he always want to buy, a better camera. A few weeks later, he bring back an advertisement. He said, "Thầy, this is a good one." A few weeks later, he said, "This is the better one, better quality." And I told him right away, we cannot afford for all of these things. What do we want? Just a camera to take picture. Of course, not too low quality. We just get something that's good enough for us. Same as when we are taking the food. When we eat something enough to nourish the body, you feel great. If you overtake, you explode. You feel unhealthy at all. No health at all. You lose your appetite if you are too full. And if you're angry, you will say something that is not necessary for you to say. That's how we used to give example. You're too angry, you will say something wrong. You overate, overwhelming, you lose your appetite. It's the very art of the one who, if he is a good cook, he never cooks something extra, just enough. One piece is one piece. Why? To make people feel they want more. So next time they come back, they eat, it's more tasty. And that is the art when we set up the food. not little bit, not enough, but that little bit not enough will keep people interesting to taking more next time. And that is the art. I asked the lady, how come you cook so good? She told me, no, I'm not a good cook, but I know how to cook. I have an art to cook. I never cook something extra, just enough. And when you have enough, you want more, but no more. The next time when you eat that again, you feel tasty. I want to share with you the word. This is the term in Buddhism. Điều phục. Điều means moderate. Phục means to control. You moderate something you need. Then something you unable to get it, then you need to control. What we need to control? Our greedy, our desire. Sometimes we don't need that much, but the desire in us very strong. It's what Thầy was. Take more. Go ahead and do it. But many times, the negative desire in us make us very unhappy, make us very suffer. We have a credit card. We never pay cash. And they will say, encourage to shopping, just buy it. You have a card very easily. You pay later. And sometimes you don't read carefully. It say 99 cents per month. But you forget how many months you must pay for that $99. And sometimes they say 99 cents, $99 per month. And per month is very small. $99 is very big. And we thought, oh, this is only $99. That is not correct. We need to moderate. And that is the reason why the third contemplation during the meal, we have to say, may we recognize and transform our unwholesome mental formation and learn to eat with moderation. We need to recognize and transform our unwholesome mental formation. And learn to eat with moderation. Everything we moderate is good. Every day we have 50 minutes of sitting meditation. Keep that. Diligently keep your schedule. Unless you're really sick, you're really busy, you're unable to make it. Otherwise, you will keep your commitment to do that. When you come to the Sangha, try to come regularly, because your presence will support a lot for the other Sangha. I really appreciate every week that we still can continue the group. And I really appreciate all the brothers and sisters who try their best to come to support for the other Sangha. So 4 things the Buddha taught us. If we practice these 4 things, we will keep our bodhicitta, we will keep our awakening mind strong and moving on a very farther on the path. Socialize with good friends, right understanding, diligence, and self-control. Self-control is also very important. People invite us to smoke. We say, no, I don't smoke. They will say, come on, are you a man? If you are a man, you must smoke. Because in our country, ladies don't smoke. That's why we used to say, are you a man? That means men must smoking. but now they smoke. But let's say if someone invites us to do something, we have the right to say no. No matter what they say. But we know how to control. Let's say I have a high blood pressure. I won't take anything too salty. And if I do have to eat, I will moderate, just enough for the meal. We need to control ourselves. If we're able to control on food, we're able to control on mind. And remember, the physical body sickness we are unable to control. We only can control with food, with something we intake, to keep this body in a good shape. But the mind, we're able to keep, we're able to manage, we're able to control. When you do meditation for 5 minutes, something jump in. We recognize it right away. I am sitting meditation. I am no longer follow the forgetfulness. I have to be mindful on my breathing. Go back to your conscious breathing. Don't worry. Don't feel bad. A lot of bad things come to my mind. Yes, because a lot of bad things come to your mind. That's why you need to sit here and practice. If nothing, if your mind is totally calm and clear, you are a saint already. You are Buddha already. And because our mind is not easy to control, that's why we need to sit down and control. We have a very bad writing. That's why we need to write every day, 5 minutes to make our handwriting look beautifully. I'm very bad on math. That's why I need to do math every day. You see? So, same thing. If something we feel that we still have a lot of struggling on that, then don't worry about it. Go ahead, continue to do that daily, and one day you will be fine. And I share with you this based on my experience, based on my own practice. I still young, when I was young like you, or when I begin my practice as you, I still go through all of this. I'm struggling with, between this and that. Whether I do this or whether I do that. But I realize this is something I should not do. And if you know that you are not that strong on your self-control, then try to avoid from that. This morning, a lady from the state called me and cried, "Thầy, I have done a lot of mistakes. I don't want to continue. What can I do now?" The more I want to forget, the more I remember. I told her, this is the only way. When you're thinking about that person, you must sit in meditation. You must do something to help you to do not pick up the phone to call that person. Do not contact that person. We need to do something to get away from that. You want to have a good practice. Of course, you have to avoid from something very bad. And friends, we need to really be careful on friends. Friends just to say hi, to say hello, that's fine. But there are friends we can share, we can learn, we can practice together. We need to have the discipline. That's why we need to receive the precept, the mindfulness trainings. Because the mindfulness trainings are a very strong foundation, a very strong, a very solid foundation to help us to move farther in the practice. So that's why in Buddhist tradition, when you become a Buddhist, you will have a ceremony to become a Buddhist, officially receive the 5 mindfulness trainings. Since then, you make a strong commitment, a strong vow, you do that. And that will keep you in a good shape of the practice. I still remember one sister request for that ceremony. And if it's possible, we will do that ceremony in September. Is that okay? Because we will have a summer break from the last week of July until the last week of August. Besides that, we still keep in touch with the Sangha by email. We will send out all information during the summer break. Thank you for your listening. Thank you for your attending. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Please sit properly and enjoy your 3 breaths along with the 3 sounds of the bell.